Hello and welcome everyone to the special 20-minute lesson we have with Lavinia. I'm Angela McMillan. I'm the founder of the Movement Online Academy, your festival host, and the woman keeping track of 3 international time zones while running on coffee and pure passion to try and get this whole system working. So this is day 2 of the Let's Get Real Festival. And before we get into the lesson today, I just want to take you on a really quick tour of what it looks like inside the Movement Online Academy. So when you land inside of our community space, the very first tab you come to on the left-hand menu bar is the events. And you can see our event here is live right now. And so then we have the 3 panels for next week. Now, there are some more surprise events coming up. So keep an eye on the events. When I do post an event, you'll be notified if you have notifications turned on. The other spaces I want you to be aware of are the conversations and events. This is where our discussion thread is. So after this live video, I'm going to post on this discussion thread, how was your experience? And I'd love to hear about it. And then next week, after the panels, the replays will be here in the replays section. So that's a little tour of the Movement Online Academy. So now I'd love to introduce Lavinia. Hello and welcome to joining us today, Lavinia.
Thank you, Angela. It's my pleasure.
So have you ever wondered what would happen if you completely reinvented yourself? Our next guest did exactly that. After 25 years as a mime and movement artist, and I would love to see some of your mime sometime, Lavinia. She discovered the
Feldenkrais. Older now, Angela.
So after 25 years, she discovered the Feldenkrais method, and it transformed her entire life's work. Since then, she's gone on to create Kinesia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Kinesia.
Kinesia, her own somatic synthesis, edited the Feldenkrais Guild newsletter, Sense and Ability for 20 years, written brilliant books, and taught transformational programs for the Shift Network. She's funny, wise, and fearless in weaving movement with the mystical. Please welcome Lavinia Plonka. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for that intro. I didn't expect all those great words.
Amazing. When we first met, I remember you actually called me a Feldenkrais rock star. So I wanted to give the same back to you and say some lovely words. We have Dorothy saying she's excited to be here, and Dorothy and yourself and Patricia are going to be on the panel next week. We're excited about that. And right now I am going to set myself up on the floor. So you want to maybe take some people through how they might want to set themselves up, and I'll mute myself.
Sure. And it's pretty darn easy. Even if you've never done a Feldenkrais lesson before, you want to find your way to your floor. I love to just tell people that I'm going to meet them on the floor. It's really a place that can help us get grounded in so many different ways. And the lesson that I'm going to explore today is kind of dovetailing for those of you who were here yesterday for Elizabeth's lovely lesson. Just going to kind of keep on going in the same theme so that you can start to see how these ideas and explorations come together to give us more options for how we can best live our lives. So you're only going to have to lie on your back in this lesson. So why don't you just get down there, lie on your back, and find a way to be comfortable. If it's not comfortable for you to have your legs long, then of course you can always bend your knees and put your feet standing flat on the floor. Some people do have some tension in their backs, and it's not always easy. But if you can have your legs long right now, then do that and sense how your legs are connecting to the floor. And where does your brain go when I say legs? Do you go to your feet? Do you go to your calves? Where does your attention draw you? Do you go to where you're touching or where you are not touching? Or maybe, you have like different ideas about your legs. Like, I really like my right leg. It's connected and it's straight. Or I don't understand my left leg. So just sensing yourself and sensing what your legs feel like right now, in whatever way they're talking to you. And then let your attention continue travel upward and sense how the two buttocks are connecting to the floor, how the weight underneath your pelvis is distributed. And does it feel like one side of the pelvis is heavier than the other? Does it feel even? And how is that related to your experience of your legs? And then continue upward. And we won't go too long in the sensing. I could do sensing all day long, but there are certain parts that I want you to feel, and I want you to jump up to your shoulder girdle. And just notice how your two shoulder blades are connecting to the floor. And whether there's any correspondence at all to the contact of your shoulder blades, the contact of your pelvis, the contact of your feet or your legs. And then take a moment to sense your breathing and what moves as you breathe. And now, could you bend just your right leg and put your right foot so that it's standing flat on the floor, feeling your direct contact of your foot on the floor. And all you're going to do is begin lifting that right hip off the floor and putting it back down again. And so the first question is, well, how do you do that? Right? We all know how to lift our hip, but we all do it in our own individual way. So take a moment to just notice, what are you using in order to mobilize that side of your pelvis, right? We call it lifting the hip, but your hip joint is deep inside, right? So you're kind of lifting the whole right side of your pelvis. Notice whether you're feeling a little bit of rolling, whether you're feeling like the pelvis is lifting straight up. And as you continue lifting and lowering, could you begin to let your attention expand to notice what's happening in your rib cage? How is this lifting of your hip influencing your shoulder blade? Is it influencing your shoulder blade? And which one? And then tune into one more thing, and that's your breath. Are you breathing independently of the movement? Are you breathing with the movement? Are you holding your breath? Just check in and just notice, what's your breathing pattern as you're engaging in this movement. And then let everything go. Slide your leg down. Take a pause. And just from doing that little bit of movement, is there any kind of a different quality of sensation between your right leg, your left leg, how your pelvis is lying? Just taking in any little differences that attract your attention. We're going to stick with the right side for a few minutes. So bend that right leg again. And we're going to explore all the different ways that one could work to mobilize the pelvis. So it's going to feel sometimes like you're not getting anywhere at all. And that's fine. It's not the point to get anywhere. The point is to begin to start to feel what's involved. So I want you to just start the movement by just pressing your foot into the floor and releasing it. Not even worrying about whether it lifts or not, but just noticing that as you press the foot into the floor, you can begin to feel how your shin bone, your knee, your femur, your thigh bone are responding to that pressure and release. And as you're doing that movement of press and release, you might feel a tiny little response in your pelvis. It won't be big, but just notice what it feels like. And just ask yourself, was I pressing this way when I lifted my hip, or did I do something else? There's no right or wrong answer here. And then pause with that. And now you're going to try a different movement. This is kind of a cool movement. You want to imagine that someone is pulling your knee. We have an expression in our culture, he's pulling my leg, which is not what we're trying to do right here. You want to think that your knee is moving away from your head, but your foot stays pressing on the floor. So it's kind of like you feel a little bit of a lengthening or a stretching in the front of your thigh. And see what that feels like for you. So again, the hip might come up a little bit, but you don't want to take it to rolling. You're just feeling how that leg it's actually doing what we do when we're walking, right? That pressing forward and letting your hip come forward a little bit. And of course, you're feeling the pressure underneath your foot at the same time. Again, notice your breathing. Notice how this echoes through the rest of yourself. And notice your belly. And are you tensing in your stomach? Can you relax in your stomach? And then let it all go again. Just stretch out your legs. Take a moment. And then bend that right leg again. We're going to explore one more variation, right? So in Feldenkrais, we explore different kinds of strategies around an intention. So if my intention is to free up my hip, let my pelvis move, I look at all the different ways that I can interact with those parts of myself and let my nervous system choose how to move best. So in this one, those of you who were in Elizabeth's class yesterday, remember you spent a lot of time tilting your leg out to the side. In this case, you want to tilt your leg to the left, inwardly a little bit, and let your pelvis roll. And then return, right? So you're lifting your hip. And now you may find that as you tilt your leg and let your pelvis roll, that the foot still wants to press. So see what it's like to just roll a couple times without pressing your foot. And feel how as you roll, your entire spine is starting to spiral and turn a little bit. And then pause a moment the next time that your knee is vertical. And without thinking about anything at all, just have the intention, I'd like to lift my hip. And see what it feels like to lift your hip in any way that feels right for you, and notice what it feels like. And is it a different quality or a different sensation than it was in the beginning? Or does it feel the same, right? We're always exploring, investigating, asking ourselves questions. And so let that go, stretch your leg out, take a rest, and take a moment to notice whether this process of pressing, lifting, rolling has in any way changed the sense of the distribution of weight in your legs, in your pelvis, in your shoulders. And then bend your left leg and bring your left foot so that it's standing. And now you've got a whole new direction. But on this side, we're going to use a strategy that is just brilliant. And that is that you're going to apply your mind, your intention, your ability to imagine to the movement that you just did on the other side. So without doing anything at all, I want you to imagine what it would feel like to lift your hip on this side. How would you do it? What would be involved? How can you transfer all of the learning that you did on the other side to this side? So let's break it down in our minds. Take a moment to imagine just the pressing of the foot and how that would echo through you, how you would experience the line of force as the foot presses. and releases. And then imagine that knee reaching forward as if someone was taking your leg and reaching it out over your foot so that the thigh lengthens. You feel a little bit of lengthening in the front of yourself. And again, only in your imagination. Now, if you're having trouble imagining, there's a lot of different strategies that you can employ. One of them is to just do the first 25th of the second of the movement as if you were starting and then you changed your mind. And sometimes that can help you feel what would take place. And then, of course, you can just kind of pretend that you're imagining it, which is kind of like imagining it. And then pause with that one and imagine the rotation, that rolling of your pelvis. And as you're imagining, can you tune into your breathing, right? There's no demand on you now to do anything. So just notice whether you still wanted to hold your breath because you were thinking so hard, and see what you can let go of. Just let go. And now actually lift your pelvis. Lift that left side of the pelvis and just feel what it's like on this side. Sense the quality. Notice how it's different from the right. And sense how far it echoes through the rest of yourself. Because we're going to connect it to the rest of yourself. Now pause a moment. Actually, give yourself a rest. Slide your legs down and take a rest. And just notice how just imagining has influenced the way you connect to the floor. So one of the things that I love about the Feldenkrais method is that it gives me an opportunity to kind of feel the physical metaphor of different aspects of my life. And one of the things that so many of us are doing is wanting to reach for possible and impossible goals. So I'd like to just take that little metaphor in the last few minutes of our lesson and add it to this powerful movement of your pelvis. So bend your right leg again and just extend your left arm. If you can bring it sort of diagonally up in the direction of your head. It doesn't have to be really close to your head, but sort of at a diagonal line. If you were to paint a line from your shoulder to your hip, your left shoulder to your right hip, feeling that. Now, as you press your foot, could you allow your arm, your left arm, to lengthen as you press your foot and lift your hip? Feel how that moves in the direction of your arm. And you may feel, as Angela just did, spontaneously wanting to turn your head to look to where your arm is lengthening to. Now, as you continue this movement, could you begin to think to yourself, am I just doing a movement or am I reaching? And what happens when you change your intention to say, I'm reaching for something with my arm and I'm using this movement to get there? Notice again what happens to your breath. Now, as you continue, could you do it in such a way that as you reach, it doesn't matter whether you get there or not? Or it's kind of whatever. And notice how that changes your breath. And then let it go. Bring your arm down. Take a rest. Let your legs straighten as well. And notice if you sense something different in the diagonal line from your left shoulder to your right hip, comparing that to the right shoulder and the left hip. And if your other diagonal is feeling a little bit jealous, go ahead and bend your left leg extend your right arm, and just enjoy that beautiful feeling of starting with your foot, pressing through your hip, allowing that line to move through, letting your head turn to look at your hand, sensing your breath, and then letting it all go, because I've used up my 20 minutes. So you have to let your leg get long, let your arm get long. Take a moment to take another snapshot of the quality of your experience right now, and then slowly roll to your side, come on up to standing, and just take a moment to think for yourself, yeah, I'm reaching for something. How does that move all the way through you? Just try once. There you go. Of course, we can't see the bottom of you, but we've got the idea. Right. Connecting all the way through. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ah, that was awesome. I didn't want to get off the floor again.
No, I wanted to lie down with you.
Thank you so much. I know you've had a full day today, Lavinia. I really appreciate your time and your energy. And that lesson was beautiful as always. Let's take this moment to share. You have a course coming up for the Shift Network in June. Is that right? Yes.
Well, I do. And it's a very unusual course that's going to look at how you can apply movement from the Feldenkrais method to explore the idea of embodied prayer. So it's diving into the unknown yet again. And we'll be sending out information, but also Angela is going to be sending information to everybody that's here about that course. So stay tuned for more details coming up.
There's so many great things happening. And I just wanted to highlight Elena, who is, Donna, love this lesson. Thank you.
Thank
Elena,
you.
who is going to be another speaker. Do you know Elena Lavinia?
I don't.
She's in Ukraine. She's
Right.
working with
Right. I think I've read some of her writing.
Yeah. So Elena's on the panel with Elizabeth Bloom. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Karen says, great lesson.
Hey, Karen.
Loved the metaphor with life, says Dorothy.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I just wanted to also mention before we wrap up here today, ladies and gentlemen watching. So next week, after the panels, if you can't make it, the replays are in this space here in the replays. Now we do have a members hub as well. So if I scroll down and I open up the members hub here, this is what you get in our members hub. It's a premium package. You get all our previous fireside chats, which I think there's something about 30 so far. You get the 20-minute movement lesson series. So this lesson will go in there. I'll also leave it live on the channel here. You have last year's festival. So this festival that we're running at the moment is more like a mini festival because we're only doing panel discussions. Whereas our previous 3 festivals, last year, 22 and 21, all have presentations. And if you are a practitioner, I highly suggest you want to check out what other practitioners are talking about, how they get on the stage, how they develop their presentation. Actually, we were talking about that before we got on, weren't we, Lavinia? How important that is.
Yes, we were.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us. I'm really looking forward to your panel now.
So am I. I'm looking forward to having some really fun, creative conversations about our work.
Yes, yeah, I'm so excited about that. And I know Dorothy and Patricia, who is joining you, are as well. And I just get so much joy from hearing practitioners talk about the work from their angle. Yeah, so we've all got something unique and special that we bring to our practice and our work.
Okay.
Would you like to say any last words before we end this the live stream today, Lavinia?
I just love this work. Just love this work, and I hope that other people can enjoy it as well.
Thank you. Thanks. We could stay in the room. I'm going to end the recording. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Keep an eye out on our new events coming up. Thank you.